Welcome, creative friends. Today I'm going to be making the mushroom roof or mushroom cap roof and the chimney. Here I'm just checking out to see where I want to position all my cardboard. I'm cutting triangles out, different sizes to connect them around. This is going to be really quick, just so you can see what I'm doing. Trying to make a base, putting foil, and then putting the triangle cardboards around them. And that's going to be the base of my mushrooms. I'm using hot glue here. I'm not going to wait for any tacky glue to dry, and it's going to be all covered up, so it's going to be stable. Here I'm just adding all the masking tape over it. And now I'm just adding more foil to put over on top of the mushroom caps. That's going to be the bark. And now from the inside, I don't want it to be very heavy. I don't need it to be heavy, so I'm just putting, well, this is an old phone book that I had. You could use newspapers, any scrap papers you got. Now, after I was finished, I had it all glued just in a few spots so it wouldn't move on me, and I drew around it to see where my circumference of the house is. Now I'm putting a lot of glue and I'm making a new recipe. I'm going to be using toilet paper. Just don't rip it like I just did right there. This was so hard to dissolve. Putting so much in at the same time was a big mistake. Took me forever just to dissolve it. Now this is the better way. Just put one sheet, pick one ply up with your whatever you're using, a spoon or whatever, and then start squishing it in to the mixture. And this, I think I put like 20 maybe sheets all in all to get this consistency. Now that I reach this consistency, I want to add some more cornstarch. Or not some more, for the very beginning. So I'm putting the cornstarch. I'm not going to show you. I think I put like 7 times this amount, but always just put little by little. Don't pour the whole quantity in. It's going to be too hard to mix it. And just spread it on. I have noticed one thing. Whenever I put cornstarch in any of my mixtures, it tends to give it the ability to level itself out. So whenever you need something to level out, use cornstarch. Here I'm drying it, and I notice that when I dry it with the heat gun, it puffs up like puff paints, and all of those little markings and ridges and where I was, putting it on, it all disappears and becomes like one flat leveled out surface. I don't know if I don't dry it with a hair dryer that'll happen. Here I'm just checking it. You see at the bottom, I put only toilet paper with glue. And then after it dried a little bit, I put more of the cornstarch with toilet paper mixture on top of it to look like it's covering it up and it's just breaking up because they're old mushrooms. I'm gonna be doing the same thing, putting this paper. This is packaging paper, not a paper bag. And I'm gonna be using coffee filters for the bottom, just laying them flat like paper mache. And I wanted to show you a little bit of a difference that I'm doing. Not with that right there on the bottom. You see how it's coming out, all of it? Well, I'm gonna make like a little ledge to make it look like as if the mushrooms pushed themselves out of the wood and just broke it up a little bit. And I'm gonna do the same for the top, but I did add toilet paper with glue on the top because that wasn't enough. It just didn't satisfy me. I wanted it to look more broken up, so I added toilet paper and glue. Same as we did on the first bark. And if you haven't seen how I did my fake bark, I will put a link in the description below. Now after I put my sawdust and painted it and everything, it's time to paint it. I'm not gonna explain how I painted it, but I do want to talk about the paper towels and the coffee filters and why I switched. There's two reasons, but the main reason are all those dots and design on the paper towel. 4 or 5 years ago, Walmart used to sell cheap paper towels, and those markings and dots would disappear. But they don't sell it anymore. No matter how cheap I went, always the dots show. That is the main reason I changed to coffee filters. Number two, it's much cheaper. Well, here is the next day, and I decided to change everything again. I just didn't like the orange. It looked so dull, lifeless. So, like always, I changed my colors. I'm just giving it some dark spots and making it look old with some black pastel. Here I put a real piece of bark. You see where the wire is, or the chenille stem, just to see if it looks good, and I think I'm gonna be putting it there. Now here in the back, I needed to make this little lip and some of the tissue paper or toilet paper around like a frame, and now it fits snugly and will not move. Here I'm overdoing it and putting so much moss. I removed half of it later. I always have a tendency to overdo moss and greenery. And then the next day I look at it, I'm like, nope, looks too much, not natural, and start removing. And that piece of real wood bark, I gave it just a little bit of a highlight, so it'll be the same highlight like my fake bark. I think it looks okay. Now, the first bark, oh, before that, I'm cutting a Pringles for my chimney. I'm just splitting it in half, going to check the size. And then I'm just going to glue it on with a little bit of hot glue. I don't need a lot. If you have a dog, then you know what I'm taking out. These are from my doggy poopy bags. I always collect them. I knew one day I'm going to be using them for something, and today is the day. I'm just going to glue it, and I'm going to be using that for my wires, my lighting. Now I'm getting ready to make the chimney. I'm not removing the mushroom cap because I need them to become like a puzzle. I'm trying to make them all fit into each other, that it'll all support each other and nothing moves. And at the same time, you can still dismantle it and have easy access to everything. Doing the same thing, coffee filter. But here, I found a new technique. All right, instead of messing up my hands every single time with the glue and the toilet paper, just take a small piece of toilet paper, stick it there, crunch it up a little bit. No need to get your hands messy anymore. You see how I put it where I want it to stay? Spray it with a little bit of water, and then just like magic, take my magical wand filled with glue and squish it. Now I wish I did that 100 times that I did my other method before. This is much cleaner. Yeah, it's fun having your hands in glue and stuff, but not for me. My hands get so dry and my skin starts to crack with all the glue and the chemicals. So I'm always looking and searching for new ways that I don't have to touch it. The idea behind this is a petrified tree, and the branch was broken, or part of the tree was broken, and the mice built their own chimney with rocks next to it just to complete it. This is a very clean way. I'm just showing you so you won't get a lot of sawdust everywhere. I have it in a plastic bag and it all goes inside the bag again. Less mess. I'm just brushing off the extra. I don't want sawdust in this part. Now I'm using my handy free Timo vacuum. I'm paper macheing some of the coffee filters on here because I want to put egg cartons, make it look like rocks. But egg cartons and hot glue with masking tape don't work that well. Now, this part here, I wasn't happy with it because every time I was looking inside the house, it was dark. It was a little bit hard to access. So I decided to break it. And because it's very hard, I needed to soften it up a little bit, so I'm using my heat gun. This way I can break it without destroying it. I'm concentrating the heat on the areas that are going to break, where I have a lot of paper and foil. And it's not easy because I overkilled it with the paper mache. It's sturdy, it's hard. You can see me struggling, trying just to bend it. And those broken pieces, I'm just gonna put more tissue paper or toilet paper in there, fill up the gaps and paint it. I'm getting so mixed up. Tissue paper, toilet paper, whatever paper. Oh. Here I'm putting toilet paper mixed in with glue, filling in the crack, making it look like it's cracked. Now I'm working on the stones. I glued them on with hot glue, but now I'm putting diluted tacky glue, diluted white glue, just so they'll hold on from all the sides. And I really let it soak in. I wanted the glue to be, you might say I'm always excessively using things, but I like to make sure that my things don't break and fall off, even after 10 years. Now these nice little brushes, I'm going to be using one for every one of these colors. I got them very cheap. They are disposable makeup brushes for the lip brushes, and I got another one. I think they were 100 pieces. I think they were for what, $10 or something. Eyeliner, disposable eyeliner. Those are fantastic for little small details. I'm just giving it a watered down wash of black. They look too crisp. And I'm removing all the excess water so my cardboard won't warp. Drying it so nothing warps also when it starts going everywhere where it's not supposed to go. Here I'm using baking soda, and I'm going to be mixing the baking soda with some acrylic paint and using that as grout. And now I'm wiping the excess off, and it doesn't want to come off. It gave me a hard time. So if anybody has a solution or an idea what I did wrong, I don't know. It took me forever. Spraying them, wiping, spraying, wiping. Was it too thick? Was it too thin? What was my mistake? I don't know. But in the end, I got it to work. I kept on removing and removing until I was satisfied with the end result. I'm just going to seal all of my work with Varathane water-based sealer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button.